I was just in the mood for this day, so I had a conversation with this guy. He said, my friend got me into an investment. He's from California here. And my friend in Dallas got me into an investment. He said we were going to make a killing. So here's what happened. He bought the investment property for I think he bought it for something like 90,000. Okay, and then rehab. Oops. Probably put another what did he say? I think he said 20,000 into it. So now he's into it for 110, and now he's got an offer on terms, right, for 120, but the guy only has a down payment of $10,000. Okay, so then he was being asked to carry $110,000 note, and he wanted to know if he could he sell it for 100,000. He was hoping he'd just take, you know, a very small discount, like a 10% discount. Okay, so you guys know that what's the first thing we think about, right? I mean, one of our first things that we do all the time, if the property's really worth 120, which it may be if someone's offering that, but it's only worth that to someone who's asking for terms. So 120, and if you were an investor and you were either looking to buy a note or lend money, like a hard money lender, remember the first thing we do is figure out our loan to value or investment to value. So you take the value of the property times, let's say this is in Texas, so let's say you're really feeling generous, you'll go up to 65% loan to value because it's stable there, and foreclosures, you can foreclose sooner than it takes to sneeze practically. But still, even if you would go 65% and buy it green without any seasoning at all, look at your maximum ITV, investment to value, is $78,000. So right there, not even counting what our yield would be. So our ITV max right there, we know, is 78,000. Okay, so obviously not. So then what he'll walk away with is his 10 grand from the down payment plus the 78,000, and so then we're up to, he gets 88,000 out of this property. Okay, unless and we're going to talk about how we might structure this, but this is the way the note was going to look. So let's do clear all. Okay, so the note was going to be 110, just so we have it in our calculator. Present value, it was going to be, gosh, I think it was 10%. It's pretty high. You know, that's pretty nice. But it was going to be amortized over, let's say, 15 years. That's much better than 30, obviously. We have a 0 in our future value, and then we're solving for payment. So it was a payment like that. So if we were just calculating yield, and we wanted, I would say let's even be generous at 14%. Buying a green note like that, right? Only 10%, only $10,000 down. That's not quite even 10%. And so then what could we pay for that? So, wow, it's really, really close, isn't it? But obviously, he said he's hoping to, what does he have into it? He's into it 110,000. He's just trying to get his money back out because his friend led him astray on this investment. They thought they were going to make a killing. Now he's just trying to get his money back out. So obviously what I told him is, look, this is probably the purchase price that you're going to get if you just want to liquidate all out, something like that. So why don't you just discount your property? And this is what investors don't want to hear. they don't want to hear that they need to discount their property. They think that they can get the owner financing to get the top dollar, and then they're going to sell their note and get all their profit, their money and their profit out of it. And usually, unless there's some extraordinary circumstances, it doesn't work that way. So I just said, look, drop the price. Oops, drop the price to 100,000, and you're already doing a lot better, right? So probably if he drops the price to 100,000, he's going to get a lot more offers and people who can qualify, or even cash buyers, who knows, at that price. Or even if he dropped it to 95, right? He'd still do better than trying to sell for 10,000, for 120 and trying to do the sale of the note. But I get this all the time, if I carry the paper, can I sell and get everything out? Usually what happens is they're going to have to leave a lot of their profit in the deal, because maybe I can cash them out and get their, not in this situation, but sometimes we can cash out their seed capital. Let's say if they bought for 30,000, they put 5 into it, and then they sold it for 60,000 with 20% down, they might be able to get close to their seed capital back out, but they're going to have to carry either the back end of the note or a second behind a first that we would buy. So anyways, so this guy, he said, thank you very much. I won't spin my wheels and waste my time, because he didn't want, now if he if he would be open to a partial, we could make this work, right? So let's see if we would just buy a partial. What if I bought on this note, let me recall. There's the little recall button there, recall N. Okay, what if I'm only buying, let's say, the next 5 years of payments? Let's see what would happen. I'll put 60 in my N. I guess I'll leave that at 14 just so we leave everything constant. And that should still be a 0. Recall for future value. There's no balloon. Recall the payment, still the same. So let's see what I could pay. Okay, so now if I just bought a partial, oops. So if I buy 60 months, and then, right, I can pay him 50,000. So I wonder what he would have left. Balance of the note when he gets it back. Okay, let's figure out that. Okay, now this is the handheld version. It's not the iPhone app or the the computer version. So if you have a handheld HB10B2, so we have to go back and recreate the original note. And I think we had an interest rate of 10 and an amortization of 180. Okay, so 1 input, 60, shift, amortization. Now I go over, and the balance at that time, okay, when he gets it back, it'll be let's call it 89.5, just to be easy. Okay, so the total he'd get for his note was the down payment of 10,000 plus 50,000 for giving up 5 years, plus he'll still have a balance of 89. Well, let's call it 90. Okay, so what will he have there? 150, right? So that's one thing that he could do. Or I could just say, look, I'll buy it every 5 years for 3 times, right? 50,000 plus, and then in 5 years I'll give you another 50,000, and then another 5 years I'll give you another 50,000, something like that. It works out pretty similar, and obviously, depending on your yield requirement, these numbers would change. Okay,